joking my ass? We got Ryan O'Flanagan on the show? Comedian actor Ryan O'Flanagan. Ryan has a 30-minute comedy special on Comedy Central. He's been on TV shows, New Girl, American Dad, Corporate Dave, American Vandal, Adam Devine's House Party, so many more. He might be most well known for his online videos, either his solo stuff or the stuff he did with the sketch group Dead Kevin. If you Google Ryan O'Flanagan, Ryan Goes to Hollywood, I think you'll get a good taste of his work. That's how I found him. I think he's been killing it lately with his videos. He's doing these little videos in his apartment during the quarantine, or the quarantimes, as he calls it. I was really fascinated to pull back the curtain on this one a little and kind of see who's behind these hilarious characters that make me laugh so hard. I think Ryan is actually a really interesting guy, super nice, very down to earth. I had a great time interviewing him, and he was very kind, answered all my questions. It's also interesting hearing about what goes on behind the scenes on some of these TV shows and the making of these videos. So enjoy it. Hello, Ryan.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
All right.
Nice and quarantined.
Nice and quarantined. Yeah. So what were you doing? You had to change the time a little bit. Did you have an audition or something exciting, or?
No, I got it. Just a lot of people asking me to just shoot things for free for them.
Oh, okay. Like,
they know I love making content. They had to shoot this little web series for my friend real quick.
Oh, okay. This is in addition to your own stuff and the Dead Kevin. This is another one.
Yeah. Just cranking stuff out. There's nothing else. There's no excuse not to now.
Right.
Used to be able to say, I can't.
So how did you socially distance as you make these videos, or how does that work? You figure small gatherings are okay?
Yeah, that one was just filming on my own. I just sent it to them, and everyone just kind of plays their own part in their own neighborhood, just sends it in. So
oh, cool.
I was able to do that one on my own.
Can't wait to see that one. So yeah, I'm a big fan of yours. I became a fan because of probably because a lot of same people become a fan of the same thing. The Ryan Goes to Hollywood video, and so I'm coining the term. Has this term been coined before? O'Fanagan. I'm an O'Fanagan. That's what I'm coining that term. If it has not been
there you
coined.
go. You coined it.
Yeah, well, there we go. Awesome. So this interview should be a lot of fun. I want to go over your background and your career climb, basically your whole life story. Try to do it in about an hour or so. So. This is interesting. I did my research here. I found out that you were, at least, I don't know if you still are, but you used to be a little bit of a loner. You prefer to be by yourself. Your parents were very quiet, very introverted, and you were kind of a nervous kid. That kind of surprises me. Have you kind of feel like you've grown out of your shell a little bit now, or do you still feel like you're that way?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely still, I live by myself, which I like. I do like being alone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially during times like these. I mean, I got some friends that just have like nightmare roommates. I'm like, oh god, that sounds awful. I'd much rather just be going through this alone. But I was definitely I was a shy kid. I had a stutter. I had a really bad stutter when I was a kid, and that kind of stunted my speech a little bit, so made me a little bit shy. But I kind of started coming out of my shell a little bit in high school and college.
Yeah, so you were
doing stand up and stuff.
Yeah, you were so nervous in grade school that you get so nervous you actually throw up. Right?
True, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like third and fourth grade. I think definitely fourth grade. I had this teacher that was very strict. And looking back now, man, I'm grateful for all that she taught me. But she was really strict. Yeah, she used to wear these jackets with these big shoulder pads, like intimidating woman. Who I think I saw her again as an adult, and when I was like in high school, and she's like 5'1" or something. She was like tiny little. When I was a kid, I thought she was so terrifying.
Oh.
Yeah, it used to make me so nervous. I would just throw up in the middle of school.
Jeez. So I'm trying to paint this picture. Like I'm putting it all together. Like you said, you had a stutter until middle school, and you had a hard time talking. And then you also said that in 6th and 7th grade, you had to wear this like retainer thing called a Frankel. And you've also said that you used to get poison ivy a lot. I'm trying to picture this all, and you wore orange pants. I'm trying to picture all this together. I'm just thinking, like, you got the shit beat out of you, or did you get bullied or teased at all when you were a kid?
I got bullied when I was really young. I was in like first grade or second grade, I think. One of the older kids in the school, he was like a third or fourth grader. He used to hang me upside down on the playground because I liked Power Rangers. He used to pick me up. He's very strong, I guess, but he used to pick me up on the playground. and in front of everyone, and all his friends would laugh and stuff. Until my mom had a word with him. My mom told him to knock it off. And when a mom tells you to knock it off, you knock it off.
Like you said, when you're little, the adults seem big. So yeah, absolutely. So then,
exactly.
But you kind of grew out of that. You went into high school and you decided you're going to try out for the football team. And eventually it sounds like you probably did pretty well, but that freshman year you had a funny story. Can you tell the story, the football cup story that you told on another podcast? I thought that was a really funny story.
Yeah. I remember one time I lost my cup. I don't remember. I couldn't find my cup for practice. And I came back after practice, and one of the worst guy on the team, the guy that no one liked, he was this really jacked 14-year-old somehow, but he had found my cup, and I had gotten at Sports Authority, I think, was admittedly a small cup. It was smaller than everyone else's cup, because it was the only cup that I had never worn a cup before. I didn't know,
And you said the big ones like pushed against your thighs or something?
Yeah, they hurt. I don't want a huge cup. I don't need a huge cup. I don't have that much going on down there. I just have a small cup that doesn't chafe my legs so much. And I came back and he was just holding it up in the air. He goes, "Whose cup is this? Whose cup is it?" I don't think I ever admitted to it, but I remember the guys like passing it around and just laughing at it.
Oh shit!
And I was just sitting there like, "Yeah, whose cup is that?"
That's crazy. But you ended up being the homecoming king of high school, so you must have grown out of all this awkwardness and turned out to be a pretty cool guy in high school, right?
Yeah. By the time, I think the thing is, my senior year, we had a school news program that would air. I think it was once a week on like Fridays. I think it would be a news around the school, which is always like nothing interesting. But the first week of the year, I hosted it. I was like the anchor, and then it was really goofy and fun. And then the class decided to just let me be the anchor every week and then have a different co-host every week. So I became kind of the anchor of the really silly school news program that people seem to finally like. Because for years, the school had like a news program that was really just lame and just telling stories about the volleyball team and made the playoffs. And it was just like really boring stories, libraries being renovated and stuff. But me and my friends used to go out and to try to find more interesting, weird stories and try to make them funny. And then the news became kind of fun in the school. And
so were you doing characters or were you just doing funny stories? Or were you kind of doing like a talk show kind of stuff? Or what was the format?
Yeah. It was just no characters or anything. Just straight up Anchorman style on the news. And they had like a nice news desk with a green screen and stuff. And just trying to make like a silly kind of parody of news.
And that's kind of when you decided that's what you wanted to do forever, was make funny videos, right?
I think it's, sometime around there. But I just had a lot of fun being in front of camera. And I used to make videos with my friends in high school for school projects and for extra credit and stuff, and make little 10-minute videos and stuff. And I think that's when I decided I wanted to be an actor, and then majored in theater in college.
Right.
Kind of got the ball rolling there.
So who were your...
Still working on it.
Yeah, no, you're doing really well. Who are your early influences? You said Ben Stiller, Jim Carrey, Jack Black, Norm Macdonald. Were you a fan of like Sandler, Adam Sandler, and Chris Farley? I see a little bit of Chris Farley in some of your stuff. Were you a fan of his?
Definitely, yeah. I do get that a lot, especially like the Dead Kevin stuff. That's very... I kind of took on this kind of loud, screaming, angry kind of character sometimes.
Right, yeah.
Stuff. And even some of the other guys in the group would say that I was kind of the Farley of the group. I kind of missed the Farley boat as a kid. I definitely was on board with Adam Sandler and Waterboy and stuff like that. But I definitely missed the Farley boat till later in life. I wish I had been more of a fan earlier. But yeah, I didn't really start following Farley till I lived out here in LA. And my friends kept telling me that I was acting like him and reminded them of him. So yeah, just kind of new to the Farley.
Gotcha.
Farley world.
Yeah, you're probably maybe a little too young to see that, and then there wasn't YouTube probably back then when you were younger.
Right,
but then like you said, you went to Boston College. You majored in theater. You did some Shakespeare, and then you wanted to do stand up because of Dane Cook, and you saw his special Vicious Circle, showed him backstage. You thought it looked really cool, and so you tried doing kind of like you were kind of a Dane Cookish, as you say, stand up when you started, right?
I was. I didn't realize it. I was just, I didn't really watch too much stand up until he became real popular around the time I was in like high school, early college. I remember just watching. I think it was Vicious Circle special where he's at Madison Square Garden. I think it is, and it's like a kind of it's like sold out, and before the show starts, they show him backstage getting pumped up, and they're chanting his name. They go Dane, Dane, Dane. And I was like, I've never thought of stand up as being such a cool kind of almost like a rock concert.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, stand up is really cool, and that kind of inspired me to try it. But he was really the only stand up I watched at the time.
Really? So you didn't watch any stand up like growing up in like middle school or high school or anything?
Not really. Maybe just a few of those like Comedy Central half hours. I remember watching Tommy John again and Christian Finnegan and Jeff Dye and guys like that. But he was the first kind of huge names I kind of followed, and I didn't realize it, but I was very much copying his style when I was first starting out on stage. But the first time I ever did stand up was I entered this comedy competition in Providence, Rhode Island.
Right.
And it was 3 rounds, and I made it to the finals just based on bringing a bunch of friends to every show. I think I was pretty terrible. But my family, I had a bunch of family and friends would come out and support. That was back when people used to come out and support. Like every once in a while, a few friends will come. But on my own at this point. But yeah, back then I'd have like 30 friends there from my high school would show up, and which must have been so annoying for the other comics.
That's what you're saying.
That must have been. Like,
but that's how kind of you win those things, right? Isn't that you kind of have to bring a lot of people because isn't it based on the crowd cheering and stuff? Yeah.
That's why I was like making it to the finals back then. It was just like cheering, crowd applause, moving on to the next round. And I was just moving on to the finals. I thought I was good at stand up, but I was definitely not. I remember one of my friends coming up to me after the show and just being like, "Were you trying to beat Dane Cook?" And I was like, "No, that was my own material." I couldn't really tell the difference between material and style and cadence. So I was like, "No, I wrote all those jokes. That's all mine." And he was like, "Oh, I thought you were like trying to be like Dane Cook." And at the time, I honestly took it as a compliment. I was like, "Wow, he thinks I'm like Dane Cook."
Wow.
I'm like, "Nah, that's actually a huge problem."
Yeah.
I can't imagine the other comedians, the seasoned older comedians that were in that contest, who were probably been doing it for 10 years and were probably really good, but didn't bring any friends out. And this 18-year-old Dane Cook impersonator came out, and his friends just pushed him on to the finals. And God, I would have been so pissed if that happened to me now.
So you must have had somewhat of an ego enough to go, well, I'm moving to LA. So you moved to LA, and this is crazy. You had an 81-year-old roommate that you met on Craigslist. And not only was he your roommate, like you guys shared an apartment, you shared a fucking bedroom with this guy. An 81, and you guys didn't even have a bed. You slept on the fucking carpet, but it was cheap. It was only $463 a month. And you did that for an entire year. I don't know how the hell you did that. How does this guy, he's 81, how do you go through life and not own a bed that far? I mean, I get it. Like you just came out of college, but how did this guy not have a bed? Like,
yeah, he was one of the most interesting people I've ever met. Like when I met him on Craigslist, and I think we talked on the phone once. So I heard his voice. When I heard his voice, I realized, he's like an older. I thought he was like maybe in his 40s.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was thinking that was old. I was like, oh God, I'm gonna be living with this guy in his 40s. And then so I arrive at his apartment. And he opens the door, and I was like, oh my God, he's this 81-year-old man. He's missing a bunch of teeth. And he brings me in. The first thing he does, he sits me down at this dining table that he has. It's got like an overhead light right above it, like an interrogation kind of setup. And he sits me down and he goes, the lease is only 4 months. After that, people usually want to get out of here. And I was like, all right, 4 months. I can do 4 months. And every wall is completely covered, floor to ceiling, in boxes. He was a full-blown hoarder, like straight out of the TV show.
But he didn't have a bed. That's what's so fascinating to me.
Yeah, well, I can't just get one bed. Yeah, he slept on a pile of 3 blankets.
Okay.
So I guess it was better for his back, just sleeping on the floor. He gave me an air mattress, which is nice. I still have it, actually. I still use it sometimes when I go camping and stuff.
Yeah.
But we used to sleep perpendicular. I'd sleep at his feet. He was wild. He would stay up later than me. I don't know what he was doing. He would just be on his computer all night. He told me he was an accountant. I don't know what that really meant. But he was bizarre. But I was thinking, I mean, that's why I'm so grateful to be in the position I'm at now, living situation wise, living by myself. I got a 1-bedroom here, nothing special, but I'm so glad that I have just a place to. Imagine if coronavirus hit while I was living with that guy.
Oh my God!
So I'm just stuck in a room with him for a year, whatever this is going to be.
Was it a? So
I guess I would have just had to.
Was it a studio apartment, or why didn't like one of you sleep in the bedroom and one of you sleep in the living room or something?
It was actually a 2-bedroom apartment that had a living room, kitchen downstairs, and upstairs was me and him in one room, and then these 2 video game testers in the other room, and I never spoke to them at all.
Oh, okay.
They just had their door locked, and they were just like playing video games for the entire year that I lived there.
So it was actually 4 of you living there then?
Yeah, 4 of us.
Wow.
We had one like wire shelf with 4 shelves. We each got a shelf to put our food on in the kitchen, and we just made it work somehow for a year.
So, and was this the year where you did 3 open mics a night, and then you go to the gym until 2 a.m.?
Yeah, man, I think, and the living situation, I think, was part of it, too, because I just wanted to be gone.
Sure, yeah.
But, yeah, I work a full-time job, just doing temp stuff, data entry, and then do a bunch of open mics, and then I'd go to the gym super late and get home at like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I was just trying to not be home as much as I could.
Right.
It was so depressing being there. That was a brutal year. But, yeah, I think I'm glad I went through it.
Yeah.
A character building year.
Absolutely. So is that I read you did 820, or I think you said 820 open mics in 1 year. I mean, that's like, is that a record? I feel like that's like a record. I've never heard of anyone else. You talk to a lot of comedians. Have you told that story to anyone else that's like, has you beat?
Yeah. I mean, people definitely. I still am friends with a lot of the people that I met in that year. So I was just going. So, and a lot of people were going really hard. I don't know about 800, but a lot of people were working so hard, and we would just see each other at multiple open mics a night, doing the same jokes over and over in front of each other. But for whatever reason, I was pretty scared about living in LA and being far from home and not having a lot of friends. And I think in the back of my mind, I just thought the only thing I can really do about this is just work as hard as I can and just try to get my name out there and make this, if I'm not working as hard as I can, then I might as well just go back home,
Right.
Which I did consider doing for a while, but I'm glad I ended up staying.
Yeah.
I worked way too hard. Now I'm the complete opposite. I don't work hard at all.
Well, you powered through, and then some of that hard work paid off right away. You met some friends, Jack and Ahmed, and you guys started the Dead Kevin sketch group. You wanted to call it Laser Show, but that was shot, so they called it Dead Kevin. And that's
I did want to call it Laser Show.
Yeah, so that was you guys had a pilot that you wrote for Comedy Central, and that was kind of like scripted, but that was not how you guys usually did the sketches, right? So is it mostly unscripted, or do you just have like ideas that you kind of come in with and then just kind of work off the cuff?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all of our sketches are improvised. Some of which we think of, the idea beforehand, and then we just make it work. But a lot of times we'll just get together without having any ideas. We just kind of smoke some weed and brainstorm. But yeah, they're almost all improvised. So on the few occasions that we've had to write sketches for Comedy Central or for Funny or Die and stuff like that, they'll do like a quick series with us, and we have to send an actual script. It's just we don't know what the hell we're doing. We do our best, and then always, without fail, every time we film it, it just does not stick to the script at all. Because we just kind of have fun hanging out and trying to make each other laugh and stuff.
Yeah.
That Comedy Central thing was tough. I mean, it was us and 2 other writers that our managers hooked us up with. And so 5 of us total trying to write this pilot when we're not really good at writing at all. I don't think that was kind of our first foray into. That was the first pilot I ever wrote, and it was kind of far with it. I got paid to write it, which was cool. But it was
and then you have to
hard.
pitch. Yeah, you have to pitch the show to them. So is that kind of like going into Shark Tank? Like there's a bunch of guys with suits that you're trying to like sell the show to them, basically, or?
Yeah. So the 5 of us would go in. I think we pitched to a few different places, Comedy Central and FX, and when it might have been early days of Hulu too, when Hulu was kind of getting started. And TV Land and stuff, and Comedy Central was the only one that liked it.
Okay,
all those, and but we have a good relationship with them, so we had a pretty good feeling about them.
So did they?
They said, they just paid us to write the thing, and they gave us a few different rounds of notes and we kept sending, and they kept saying it was too stupid. It was too unbelievably stupid. No three people could possibly be this stupid, but that's our sense of humor.
Yeah.
And ultimately, they ended up passing on it, as if never got to shoot it or anything, but it was a fun experience to get to write it.
But so how does that work? Because like some of the Dead Kevin sketches are on like your Dead Kevin YouTube, and then some of them are on Comedy Central's YouTube channel. So are those the ones that they paid for? Like, and did they bring in a camera crew, or do you guys still just use your own cameras, or how's that work?
Yeah, those Comedy Central ones, that was a different thing than the pilot. That was just, I think that was before, maybe a year or two before the pilot situation. That was, I think, 2012 maybe, when Comedy Central was kind of trying to get this new platform off the ground, Comedy Central Studios, Comedy Central Digital or something, which was at the time was like comedycentral.com/studios, which is kind of, I think it was before a lot of the apps started really taking off, before the Comedy Central's Instagram and Snapchat were really a thing. They were still trying to get their website going. Yeah. But this was kind of, I think, the tail end of that kind of world of people going to websites to watch content before everything was on apps now. But yeah, they just didn't. They put them up on their YouTube and their website, and on their website they didn't really do well at all. Sure. They would get some of the videos would get like 80 views or something like that total. Because I'm like, no one's going to comedycentral.com/studios to watch sketches. But now everything they put on their Instagram and Facebook will get hundreds of thousands of views. They kind of figured it out. Those sketches, they would have some of their team come over, and they had like some lighting and they had a sound guy, which we've never. Our sketches are famously bad for sound, which is kind of part of our allure. Yeah, but it was cool to have them. Then they let us use our regular camera guy too to help out. Oh, okay. That's direct cool. And stuff. So yeah, it's kind of collaborative effort. Then do you still get like royalties from that, or is it just like you got a flat rate and then they just get all the rest? Yeah, that was just a flat rate. I forget what it was. Probably something paltry. Yeah. But it was cool, especially at the time when we kind of new to stand up, and finally we got to have Comedy Central attached to something that we're doing. It felt really cool. I feel like growing up watching that network and stuff. Yeah, and then you're doing stand up, you're doing Dead Kevin, and then is this around the time you're starting to do commercials too? Like I saw you in a Taco Bell commercial. You had like I think an internet commercial. That's got to be a pretty lucrative gig, right? I mean, that's cool because like you could come in and work a day or two. And then does that get a royalty like every time they play the commercial, or is that usually a flat rate as well? Yeah, commercials are definitely where the money's at. You can get a national commercial. I don't think I got my first commercial until maybe 2015 or something. Okay. And I haven't done too many. I've only done maybe 7 or 8, 3 of which I've been Taco Bell, though, for some reason. Taco Bell, I have a real Taco Bell look about me. Do you like Taco Bell? Are you a fan of Taco Bell? Like legitimately? I am. Oh, that is good stuff. Yeah, I remember one of them I had to actually eat a bunch of Taco Bell, and that spit it out in between takes. But I was absolutely disgusted by it by the end, and my mouth was totally burnt because they needed like the steam to be coming off of the cheese and stuff. But commercials are certainly where it's at, unless you can get on like a TV show or something. Most of my friends that are at kind of my level that are getting by on their own or getting by on commercials, unless you can book something huge. But when you said yes, they're the way to go. When you said yes to do this podcast, I was like, I got to tell him, and I'm sure you've been told this before, like, you should be on Saturday Night Live. And then come to find out, you auditioned for Saturday Night Live. You had a tape of you doing those Magellan commercials, Jellin'. Are you Jellin'? You kind of had a spoof of that you did at Stand Up at the Laugh Factory. And one of the SNL people saw that, and they submitted it to the SNL people or whatever. So then you had to do a tape. Do you want to tell this story? I'll let you tell this because you tell the story, and I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh, this is so fascinating. Like all the steps you had to go through, and then like, obviously you didn't get it because otherwise you probably wouldn't be doing my podcast right now. But it's a cool story either way. Like, I would. Oh, you would? Really? Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, it was bizarre. I've never thought about really being on SNL. I don't really do. I can't. I'm terrible at accents. I do like characters and stuff for my sketches and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I can't do accents. I don't do like voices and stuff. I'm pretty talentless when it comes to that kind of stuff. But,
do you try to do that? Have you tried to do because you said your tape had 6 or 7 characters. So did you? I mean, and you kept moving through the right.
Yeah. I would try to do a couple of them that would have like accents, and then I send in a version to my manager, and she'd be like, "Let's take those out. Those are pretty bad." but then. Yeah, it ended up being like so they saw that video, and they made me send in a tape. It was a 5-minute tape of characters. And then I think my manager at the time recommended that I do like 3.5 minutes of characters and then a 1.5 minutes of this joke that I would do that she really liked. And I think she thought that they really liked it too for whatever reason. I don't really know. But I sent them the tape, and they liked it, and they had me do a showcase here in LA that Lorne Michaels was going to come to I think it was at IO West out here in LA, and it was a real packed audience. It was like an SNL showcase, and a bunch of people that ended up being on SNL were there.
But didn't
like
first
John Milheiser was there and Noel Wells.
Yeah, but didn't first they flew you to LA to have drinks with the producers and stuff? And you said Seth Meyers was that one?
I forget the timeline. Maybe that was
And then you said and then there was a showcase in LA
on my birthday.
Yeah, that's right. And you were happy but stressed out.
Yeah, I was stressed out because I was like fighting with my girlfriend at the time, and she like had big plans for my birthday, and she was going to be so upset that I had to like leave. And I was like calling him, was like, "Does it have to be this weekend? Because like me and my girlfriend are not doing well. And I really just wanted to hang out this weekend."
Your girlfriend wasn't happy that you were auditioning for Saturday Night Live?
It was a weird time. We don't have to go there.
Okay.
But yeah, they flew me out just for like drinks with some of the producers and Seth Meyers, who's a very nice guy, and some of the writers and stuff, and a couple of other people that they were kind of auditioning. And the group, maybe 10 of us, just went out and got drinks and just hung out. And I don't know what was really accomplished, I guess, to see if we gelled and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if we did. I hope so. But then the showcase in LA happened, and Lorne Michaels was there. He's sitting dead center. There's like a light inadvertently. I don't think he even meant to, but there was this light right on him, right in the center of the crowd.
Are you nervous?
And I was pretty nervous, but I have no idea what jokes I did, but I did really well. Everyone did really well. And then I think after that they flew me out
back to New York for a screen test
again for a screen test. Yeah, on the stage, on the SNL stage, and they had these 2 rows of kind of like a panel. That was like Lorne Michaels, Seth Meyers, a bunch of the writers,
John Mulaney, right?
Maybe John Mulaney. Yeah, it's about like 12 people or so, just watching in complete silence while you do your showcase on stage. And it's very awkward.
Yeah.
And they put so much pressure on you, and you got to go through hair and makeup too. It was really nerve wracking. And then I think they were auditioning. At this point, there's maybe like 8 or 9 people left at this point that they're considering. And they ended up hiring like 5 of them. That was the year they hired Brooks Wheelan and John Milheiser, Noel Wells,
Kyle
Beck
Mooney.
Bennett, and Kyle Mooney, I think, were the 5 that they took. So I was in like the final 8 or 10. And didn't make it. Then we all went out to drinks after, and we're just getting to know each other and whatever. And kind of this awkward.
Yeah, didn't you say?
Hoping we get it, but also.
You said that you think you did pretty well in the audition part, but it was the meetings afterwards where you had to like talk and network and schmooze that you kind of struggled with that. And then you got to meet Lorne Michaels, and you walked into his office, and he's behind his desk, and you walked in and you said, "Hi, I'm Ryan," and he says, "I know."
Yeah.
And then you said,
Lorne was it's very intimidating.
Sure. I'm really sure. Yeah. And you just kept saying like
his office.
Yeah. You just kept saying like, "This is cool. This is so cool." Like,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not the best conversationalist, especially when I'm super nervous. Yeah, cool. Yeah, this is cool. Thanks for having me. This is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that must have been surreal to be in Lorne Michaels' office. You said there's bulletin boards with like the hosts, like Lady Gaga and Eminem, and you were just like kind of amazed. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember calling that cool. I remember looking at that going, "Hey, that's cool." Very cool. And he's got his desk with he has this like so many pictures on his tiny little pictures on his desk facing him. I don't know, I assume family and friends and stuff. And then it's a huge like trough of popcorn that he was just eating the whole time we were talking.
What kinds of questions was he asking you? Because you've already auditioned, so he's already seen like is he just this like more like a job interview at this point then?
Yeah, it was more kind of like a getting to know you kind of thing. It didn't really dig into what I would really bring to the show quite yet, at least.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of just getting to know you, see if we get along, and my background and stuff, and what I've been up to, and what I've been working on. It was fine. I didn't blow him out of the water, obviously, and then. But then the next year they emailed my manager and said, we're going to give Ryan one more chance at SNL, but it's only going to be one more chance. So he can go out this year, or he can really hone his audition and stuff and try next year. And I said, well, I'm just going to do this year. I don't know what's going to happen in a year from now. Could be a pandemic. Could ruin everything. So at this point, this is 2014 now, and so I sent in another 5-minute tape, and they liked it, and they flew me out for meetings with like the head booker. I think just hanging out, getting drinks, and I was really that. And then I had another meeting with. I don't think I did a stage. Yeah, I didn't go on stage this time.
Really? They just remembered from last year or whatever.
It must have been. Yeah, I don't think. Or maybe I did. I forget.
Okay.
It was all such a blur. But I do remember meeting, this was the year they hired Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson, right, yeah. And from what I was told, it got down to 3 people. It was me and Pete Davidson. And I think it was Andrew Santino was the third one. Okay.
Who was done fine. He doesn't need SNL. But yeah, I had a second meeting with Lorne, and it was him and then 2 writers who I had seen. I'd seen one of these guys like on TV a bunch of times. I forget what his name was. I walk in, so now there's 4 of us, and so I'm getting kind of grilled by him and these other guys. And this time he really got into it, like asking about impressions and voices that I can do, and I really just can't do any. So I was just like, I was like, yeah. I mean, I tried a couple in my audition tape, but certainly something that I can work on. I don't think it's really my strength right now, but would love to try and work on it. But I think they were really considering me more for an Andy Samberg kind of just guy, bro kind of guy. Doesn't really do not a great impressionist or whatever, but just kind of a relatable dude.
Yeah, I think you definitely could have had a part there and done a lot of cool stuff. A lot of your videos could be on SNL. I mean, I thought, but I guess they didn't agree, huh?
I guess not. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do still think about that sometimes, But where I could have been if I had gotten it. But I mean, a lot of those people are gone now. A lot of the original crew that they hired that year. I mean, there's such turnover over there. But it sounds so stressful. From everything I hear about it, just sounds like really not me. I would love
I would think that would be your dream.
Paycheck, but
it's so fascinating.
Man, I mean, it's definitely my dream to make videos and try to make funny sketches. But to that level is just like constant work. For most of the year, morning till night, they're just cranking out stuff, and oh man, that's a little too much for me.
Too much.
To stick to my apartment, do sketches for free. No one knows who I am.
Well, so besides the commercials in the SNL audition, then you did land a big role. You got this one, an episode of New Girl, and was that pretty much your first big TV appearance?
Yeah. New Girl was my first TV thing, and that was the same weekend that I was auditioning for SNL. So I think I filmed this New Girl thing on might have been a Sunday or a Monday. So I had to fly back from New York really early. I had like a 6 a.m. flight out of New York. I landed in LA at like 9, and but my part on New Girl was I was playing a magician.
Comedy magician.
I had to do all these magic tricks.
Did you know those before, or did you have to learn them for the show?
No.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I had to learn it for the show. I think in the audition, I would just kind of like mime it and do these like flourishes and just being really silly. And so they actually, Fox had to send a magician to my apartment to teach me these tricks.
No way.
And so this magician had to come to my apartment, teach me these tricks. This is like the day before I was leaving for SNL.
Oh shit!
So I was all like stressed out about that. And he comes over with these big like rings and stuff, and like fake fingers and stuff. And he comes over teaching me how to do all this stuff. And he's like, "All right, practice this weekend." So I had to like practice. I was practicing at the airport.
Oh my
I was
God.
like flying back from New York with my big, fake metal rings and stuff. Just practicing my tricks. And got off the straight. Didn't even go home. I went straight from the airport. Took an Uber straight to set for New Girl, and they were so nice. And that was at least something I could talk about with them, telling them about my adventures in New York. I was grateful to have like a talking piece.
Yeah.
At least seemed like I was kind of doing something with my career. I was trying to talk to Zoe Deschanel and not seem like a loser,
Oh yeah. So you make her laugh in the scene? Because I thought you were so funny. I was like, is she like cracking up, or was she just a professional the whole time? And
she was great. She was super friendly. She told me, she said, "You're going to have your own show someday." And I was like, wow, that's probably not true. But she was super nice. Yeah, she was just like down to just talk in between scenes and like run lines and just joke around. She'd call me Rye Guy, and I was like, man, I'm gonna be friends with this person. And
did you want to date her?
Because to her ever again.
In the show, you guys date, but oh, you.
Yeah, dude. After that shoot, I was just like smitten for days. I was like that cartoon with like birds flying around my head.
Oh,
I was like, oh my gosh, she's just such a just like beautiful, sweet girl. Yeah. Just like a classic American, like icon girl.
Was she single at the time?
Turned out to be super nice. No, and I didn't know either.
Okay.
But she, at the end of the day, her boyfriend pulled up in this like ridiculously nice car with a bouquet of flowers.
Oh my God!
All right.
Jesus Christ!
That's just like he probably wins. Yeah, she was so sweet. She let me take a picture and stuff. Yeah, she was.
That's still
awesome.
A cool story though. Jeez, she's a pretty big thing. Like she was in Elf and all that, and like she's pretty famous.
Yeah.
Yes Man
stuff.
with Jim Carrey.
That was my first ever. Yeah, she's been in a bunch of stuff. So that was my first ever TV thing.
That's cool. And then you got to do, I watched this last night. You were on an episode of Adam Devine's House Party. Now that guy seems like such a fun guy. I don't know if you're a Workaholics fan. I love Workaholics, and some of his other roles, he always kind of plays the same guy. He seems like such a cool guy to hang out with. Like, is he like that off camera? Because I imagine a lot of people want to like buy him a beer or do drugs with him. Is he like a big partier off screen, or is it all an act?
He's awesome. I've never done drugs with him, but he definitely does drink, which is, we filmed that season in Hawaii, which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Seasons before that, first season was just in LA. Yeah. I had some friends were on that season, and then next season was in New Orleans. I was like, oh, that's cool. We got to go to New Orleans. I had some friends on that season. And my season, the one I booked, was in Hawaii. And I was like, wow, I got by far the best season.
That is awesome.
To Hawaii, nice resort. And I met Adam, and he was like the coolest guy. And we had this like barbecue, a luau before we started shooting. And he was like, "You want to be on my cornhole team?" He's like picked me out just because I look kind of like I would be good at cornhole, I guess, because I also look like I eat Taco Bell.
Yes,
it's kind of the same family.
You're being typecast.
That Venn diagram is.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so we played cornhole, and it's the worst performance of any activity I've ever done in my life. I could not hit the board to save my life.
Because you're nervous?
And I was nervous because I'm also just not good at cornhole usually. I'm not like terrible, but this day I was just like, I was nervous, and I was like drinking, and it was just a nightmare. And we got just destroyed by this other team. And I was texting my girlfriend. I was just on Adam Devine cornhole team, and I couldn't hit a single one, and I just want to die. I was like, it was such a rough start. But he was just like the friendliest guy after that. And I've seen him. Actually, one of my Taco Bell commercials was with him. He was in it, and I just played he played himself, and I just played like a boom operator, like on set or whatever. But he he remembered me, and
that's awesome.
A super nice guy, and he follows me on Instagram and likes my stuff sometimes. He's like the coolest guy.
That's badass. Yeah. And then
I've met very few celebrities that haven't been cool so far.
Yeah, same here.
I haven't met that many.
Yeah, I know all the podcasts I've done. I always thought because I worked in education for years. So I always thought, half the teachers I work with are so nasty and mean. And I always thought celebrities were like big, big dicks and real cocky, but they're like, most of the celebrities I've had on my podcast have been like super nice and like almost like over the top nice. Where I'm like, why? You don't have to be this nice. You could be like an asshole if you wanted, but like, they're like down to earth. It's crazy. Moving along in your career, then you get another kind of a big break, I'd say, would be American Vandal, the season 1. It's produced by Funny or Die people. This is such a funny premise. Somebody drew dicks all over these teachers' cars, speaking of schools. And so it's kind of like a crime. I know the producer said he didn't want to call it a mockumentary, but it's basically a mockumentary. And you got this role because you met a guy on a train who just happened to be a fan of your work and had you audition. So how long did you work on that series? Because I know you're in like 7 or 8 episodes, but how long does it take to make those 7 episodes?
Yeah, it's true. I did meet the director on a train after a music festival, and he knew my sketch group, did Kevin, and he kind of called me out and then found me on Facebook after. And was like, hey, that was me on the train. You want to audition for this Netflix thing I'm working on? And I honestly didn't think it was real.
You thought he was full of shit.
Yeah, I thought he was just making something, and he was going to try to send it to Netflix. I'm sure a lot of people just exaggerate, like, no, it's going to be a Netflix thing. But I went in and auditioned, and it was only I was only on set for maybe 2 or 3 like days.
Wow.
And they kind of spread those, because most of my stuff is just one-on-one kind of interview in the classroom. I play a history teacher, so they just cut that up and put it into a few different episodes. So there's only 2 or 3 different settings that I'm actually in the whole show, maybe 4. But yeah, we were able to bang those out within a couple of days. So I don't know how long shooting. Shooting probably only took like a couple of months.
Yeah, and so you got to, he let you ad-lib your lines because obviously he was a fan of your improv comedy, but are the other cast members, are they ad-libbing as much, or is it mostly just you that got to ad-lib? Because in my opinion, you kind of stole the show in that regard.
I don't know how much of the rest of the show. I assume a lot of it is Jimmy Tatro. I think they probably let him run wild. But,
which one was he? Was he the main guy, or was he the Dylan Maxwell?
Dylan.
Yeah, that kid was funny.
Yeah, he's great. I didn't know what to think when I thought that he was cast in that role. I know that he had like a big YouTube following, but I didn't really know much about him.
I didn't know.
He ended up being so great in that role. He's another guy that's really awesome.
Was it your idea to do the Snapchat where you're smoking as Cuban and doing the hoverboard?
No, that was not my idea.
Oh, okay.
Anything they wanted to have me do, I was so down for it. Yeah, they one of the directors came to my apartment that day with a hoverboard and a cigar and just got his phone out. So I was just filming you just being an idiot. That was just like right outside my apartment building.
Did you?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to film. Just because I became such friends with the director and producer that kind of just let me have fun with it.
Right. No, did you ad-lib the line where you said about the teacher, you said, she's probably going to go buy food for 56 cats. And then you said, actually, she's married to a doctor and he drives a really nice Mercedes. Was that all ad-libbed? That sounded like totally like you just made that up. Or...
I forget how much. I mean, yeah, so much of it was just kind of written. If it wasn't ad-libbed, it was definitely written like on the spot, or the director kind of feeding me lines off camera. I forget what that one was.
That's awesome. So this producer,
it was a lot of fun.
He becomes a fan of you. You guys go to the rap party. And at this point, you had just done the Ryan Goes to Hollywood, which got shared a ton. That's how I found you. Do you know Fahim Anwar? Mm-hmm. He shared it. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever done a project together?
Is that how you found it, through Fahim?
Yeah. I
remember Fahim sharing it. I remember it got shared by like a bunch of people that first couple of days it came out. I specifically remember Fahim sharing it, and I was so happy because I just think he's like the funniest guy. I was like, oh, Fahim just shared it? That's so cool.
And he doesn't share anybody's stuff.
He's always nice to me, but
yeah.
He's just like a very nice guy, but I didn't know if he thought I was like funny at all. When he shared that, I was like, oh my God, I felt so validated.
Right?
You specifically remember that moment. That's funny. That's how you found it.
Yeah, you guys, have you guys ever done a project? You guys should do a project. If you two could do a project together, I think it would be amazing. Even just one video. I want to see that happen somehow. I don't know how.
Yeah. As soon as all this quarantine is over, I got to hit him up.
So, but anyway, so the American Vandal guy, the producer, you talked to him about that video at the rap party. Can you explain to the people who are in the business, like, what is it like to go to a rap party? Is it as glamorous as it sounds? Is it pretty cool? Is it like secret kind of thing, or is it's just like a regular party?
Yeah, I think it was just. I mean, I haven't been to. I mean, it's like really the only one I've ever been to, but it was cool. That this kind of fancy bar, and a lot of people are dressed, pretty nice. I was not. I think I was underdressed, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
I'm usually underdressed at these things.
Okay.
I was wearing like just a button down or something. But I went, and it was the whole cast, and I mean, a lot of people didn't really know who I was because I was most of my scenes were filmed just by myself talking to the camera.
Yeah.
So I hadn't met like a lot of the rest of the cast. But then after they kind of saw some of the footage from the first couple episodes, then they knew who I was. And they were like, "Oh, hey, you're the history teacher. I remember seeing you in the script and stuff." Then I became friends with a bunch of people. But the head of whatever content at Funny or Die was there, because Funny or Die produced American Vandal. And I had just a couple days ago, or maybe even the day before, I had just put out that Hollywood video. And just on my regular face, I didn't have a fan page or anything at this point. I just put it on my personal Facebook page, and it ended up getting like 180,000 views, I think, in the first day. Which I was like, oh my God. At that time, that was insane for me. And I was like, holy crap, I've never put out a video. It's gotten this many views in just like a day. Wow. On my own personal, just like, I just put it out for my friends to see. At this point, most of my videos would get like 300 or 400 views, if I put them out. Just like these silly things. And then, I ended up talking to that guy who works at Funny or Die, and I was like, hey man, I put out this video yesterday, got a whole bunch of views, and a lot of people are asking me to do another one. And I was, if you guys want to work together, maybe that's something I could send it to you. If you like it, maybe we could make another one. He said, yeah. So I sent it to them, and they said, all right, well, let's do 3 of these and see how they do, in different cities that I was at for various reasons. I think I had 3 cities that I was going to go to coming up for stand-up shows.
Perfect.
DC, Reno, and one other one I forget. And they would gradually, the Funny or Die would put them out, and they were getting more and more views. I think the third one was Reno, and that one really blew up and got, like 3 million views or something. And then Funny or Die reached out and all right, let's make a ton more of these. So they ended up making like 30 something of them.
Oh.
And it became kind of went off the rails a little bit and started just becoming this ridiculous character that was just screaming the same catchphrases over and over, and it got old after a little while. But it definitely got me the vast majority of the following I have now is from that.
So how do you do that with the people around you in the video? Like, do people interrupt you or look at you weird, or do you have to get them to sign a waiver at all if they're in the frame? How does that work?
Yeah. That was actually a big part of the reason why I wanted to stop doing the videos, because they're so embarrassing to do out in public, just acting like an idiot. And I would find the dumbest hat I could find. I'd wear these really stupid like sport sunglasses,
Folkleys, as you call them.
I would just right.
Fake Oakleys.
And I would just be like screaming and mispronouncing stuff in public, and I would just like scream it and say the line, and then people would look at me, and I'd have to just like look down, look at my phone, just walk away real quick.
Oh my God.
Sometimes if I got the take wrong, or if I missed it or something, I have to go back and do it again. It was just like super embarrassing. And I remember one time in like the Napa video, there's these like footsteps on the sidewalk that teach you how to do this dance, some sort of a polka or something. Okay. And I remember just like in the video, I was just like filming myself, kind of just doing this dumb dance, just making a dumb face on the sidewalk, making a fool of myself. And then I stop recording, and there's just this like picturesque, beautiful family on the sidewalk, just like waiting for me to finish so they can get around me. These 2 parents and their like beautiful children who are just standing there looking at me, waiting for me to stop filming myself doing this dance. I was like, oops, sorry. You can have a good day.
Yeah. So you
stuff like that, I just got very, very sick of doing.
Do you use your phone on a camera phone, or do you have like a special camera actually, or the tripod, or? I mean, because they all look the same.
Using my phone.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Mm-hmm. And that's what Funny or Die wanted you to keep that same kind of look to go with it.
Yeah. Just using my iPhone. I think it was a 5 at the time. Okay. And now I have a 6. So I mean, nothing has really changed. still all this stuff I film to this day in my apartment stuff is all just on my iPhone 6.
That's hilarious.
Front-facing camera so that I can make sure I'm in frame.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never just done anything with like an actual nice camera.
How did you come up with like the catchphrases like, are you joking my ass? Is that something you said before a lot, or is that something you just created for that video?
I forget. I think joking my ass I may have said a couple times before, just like maybe with friends once or twice. I thought it was kind of funny. And then I started saying it in the video. I thought it could be just like a funny, because that character, I wanted that character to be just like really excited to be like on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
And just like this dumb tourist, he's so excited to be there, but he doesn't know like who anyone is. And he just like can't pronounce anyone's name.
Right.
And so, yeah, I just wanted him to say a bunch of other dumb stuff. I didn't realize joking my ass would become such a huge thing. It became like my main catchphrase. And yeah, I mean, to this day, people will say, you know, me and my family went out there, you joking my ass, you know, all the time. It kind of caught on. So that's kind of cool. I kind of just invented a thing.
Yeah, you mispronounce, like, I've never heard anyone call Johnny Depp John Depp. You call Ben Affleck Banana Flag. I mean, there's just like, but you just like keep doing it. And that's what is kind of funny to watch all the different cities, like, because you mispronounce all the different things. There's like, that's, again, is that something that you just come up with off the cuff, or do you kind of write some ideas down before you do it, or think about it before you record, or is it just the camera comes on and then boom, it comes to you?
A little mix of both. Yeah, a lot of it I do try to plan beforehand, especially like when I was in these new cities. I would like Google the night before. I would be like things to see in Green Bay or whatever, so I could kind of bang these out, things that might be interesting on camera, and try to think of a few different mispronunciations. And a lot of them would be sometimes off the cuff if I could think of another weird way of saying it. Just what kind of sounds like it, but definitely the pronouncing things weird and saying the wrong thing is kind of what people seem to like the most. And like all the comments would be people being like, this is my favorite part was when he said this wrong. Yeah, people really like a guy that can't pronounce stuff. That really strikes a chord. So that kind of just kept rolling with that.
Oh yeah, it was all hilarious. So you said that some people were said that you ripped off two people, John C. Reilly's I forget the character's name, one of the ones that he does, and then Kyle Mooney. And I watched, I was like so sad when I heard you say that. And I was like, oh my God, he ripped this off. So I went back and watched those skits, and I was like, I don't see what you're ripping off. Like, I guess I could see a little bit of an influence maybe, but I thought they were totally different.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that happens no matter what I put out. People are just gonna like, people are always going to be upset about something. But I got a lot of people saying that I was ripping off Dr. Steve Brule, which is the John C. Reilly character,
Dr. Steve
which
Brule.
I was never into. Which I feel dumb because my friends are like super into him, and I just never really watched him, and they've always tried to like get me to. And then I put out these videos, and I was like, shit, maybe it's because they like showed me a couple of his videos. Maybe that's in the back of my mind. Sometimes they do. I have watched him since, and I'm like, he says like dang, and he says a lot of just like dumb words that I forgot that I was saying. Oh man, now I can see. If you're a huge Steve Brule fan and you watch me, you're like, you can probably pick out so many words and cadences that I'm using, but I wasn't really a fan of his at the time.
I thought your energy was way different. Like they're kind of more like low key, kind of low energy, and you're like over the top. Like that's why I'd say more like kind of like a Chris Farley. Like you're just like yelling and like over the top and like more aggressive and like more energetic. I don't know. It's interesting. So when I saw that, I was like, I don't think it's really the same. Anyways.
That's how I would kind of justify it. It's kind of, he's an excited idiot. He's not just like a bummed out idiot. There's a lot of different types of idiots.
Exactly. It's awesome. So did that kind of led to, you had some other stuff, American Dad, you did the voiceover there. You did an episode of Corporate. You got an episode of Dave, that Lil Dicky Show. Were you a fan of Lil Dicky, or did you know who that was when you landed that role?
I was. Yeah, I was a huge fan of Lil Dicky. This is crazy now because I got a bunch of friends on that show, and my friend Tony, the one that I met on the train who directed American Vandal, he directed that episode of Dave, and so I had me audition for that role, and I met Lil Dicky through Tony. I remember when I first landed the American Vandal role, Tony wanted to get drinks with me to kind of talk about the role and his vision for it, my vision for it. Very professional drink situation I was pretty nervous about. Then he was telling me about himself, and he goes, I direct like all the Lil Dicky music videos. I said, you do? I'm a huge Lil Dicky fan. And now it's kind of, I've hung out with him a few different times. He's a nice guy, and it's crazy because I was like a huge fan of his long before I was ever, kind of vaguely in his world a little bit. Yeah, it was so cool to be on a show with him, first of all, but also the show is awesome, which I was like, I did not know if it was going to be a good show or not, but he's a great actor, and everyone on the show is great. I'm just such a huge fan of the show.
Yeah, I want to watch.
Funny. It made me cry. It's great.
I watched your episode and I was like, oh, this is, I mean, your role was, you just had kind of a cameo at the beginning, but I watched the full episode and I was like, this is actually like a really good show. I want to watch the rest of the episode. So it was cool. And
that episode in particular was crazy. I was like, that's a real emotional, bipolar episode. It's weird that I was in that episode. My role is just like another dumb guy that comes out of the woods and just says something stupid.
Well, it's
and
funny,
it goes into this like real serious kind of mental health issue thing.
Yeah, he's doing the Lil Dicky thing where he puts his two fingers down and then he's posing with these gangbangers. And it's like they're doing the same. They're like, "Oh, you're doing the Lil Dicky," and they're like, "No, we're doing C for Crips." And he's like, "Can we take that picture down, please?" I was laughing. That was funny. Yeah. That was pretty genius. So but then you got your own
so many funny moments like that.
Yeah, you got your own Comedy Central special in 2018. That must have been pretty. I mean, that's got to be one of your biggest goals too, right? To have your own comedy special on Comedy Central.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was, and they filmed that in New Orleans. I think they filmed all of them in New Orleans, all the half hours. That was
yeah, and so you went out.
Fun. I did lose.
You lost your voice the night before doing karaoke, right?
Yeah, I did. Too much karaoke the night before. I lost my voice. A lot of people say you can't tell. I still haven't watched the special. I hate watching myself do stand up. But a lot of people say everyone says it sounds fine. But I especially after. I mean, I was struggling while filming it, and probably 5-10 minutes into the special, I had to just stop and say, "Hey, listen, my voice keeps cracking. I'm going to be honest. I went out and I did karaoke last night at this bar, and then the crowd just like loved that."
Yeah.
And then I was like,
"Were the producers?
I got to tell you guys."
Were the producers pissed at all, or is that pretty common that they have to kind of edit those things up?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I think everyone at Comedy Central is very, very cool and very friendly. It's like a lot of good relationships there, and so I kind of felt comfortable just like saying that. And I mean, the song that I lost my voice at, I was on stage with a Comedy Central employee. So a lot of people were like giving her crap for like putting me in that position. I'm like, no, it's not her fault. We both wanted to go up and do Evanescence together.
That's a hard song to sing.
It is, and I did the girl part too, which is I shouldn't have used that register. But I was just struggling through the set, and my voice kept cracking and giving out, and I had to start jokes over, and I was trying to drink water, and then after the set, I mean, pretty much as soon as that set was over and I walked off stage, I mean, there was just no sound coming out of my voice for the whole rest of the night. It was just whispering the whole rest of for the next like 2 days. It was insane. I never lost my voice like that before.
That's well.
And then the next year, I had a friend that was out there helping, working with Comedy Central, helping with like planning and producing and stuff. And I forgot she was even in New Orleans, but she just texted me one day and she goes, "I'm in New Orleans with Comedy Central, and everyone here is using you as an example of what not to do." I responded. I was like, "What?
Oh,
what does that
shit.
mean?" She was like, "Oh, because you lost your voice." I was like, "Oh God."
Wow. Whoops.
I'm a cautionary tale now for future half-hour taping.
That's hilarious. So what else have you auditioned for besides SNL that you didn't get? Was there other big roles that you, like TV shows or movies, that you auditioned for that you were hoping to get that you didn't get?
Yeah, I actually did audition for in Dave, the role of his like manager, best friend that went to Andrew Santino. Okay. And I think he's way better for the role for sure. But I was hoping to get that one pretty bad. That was so cool. And I remember auditioning for Righteous Gemstones, the role that ended up going to Adam Devine.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Sometimes I get sent out on these auditions I have no chance at, and I just see these like big names get it. I'm like, yeah, why not even go out for that?
That's
but
crazy.
Stuff like that.
Those are big roles. Yeah, that would have been cool to get one of those.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, I didn't do a lot of commercial auditions that I'll see on TV and be like, yeah, okay. It'll just be like someone that just looks absolutely nothing like me. It's like, oh, that's what they wanted. Why did I audition for that?
Weird. How many auditions do you have to do a week as an actor in LA?
Some weeks are completely dead, and other weeks are, especially. I mean, now it's obviously everything's at a standstill. But normally, the beginning of the year is pilot season, which is you're auditioning for a bunch of network pilots in February and March and April. I think is kind of when it's all happening. And those will be maybe one or two a week for the course of a couple months. And as far as commercial auditions, if I'm lucky, I mean, if it gets busy, I can do sometimes like 3 or 4 a week, but then I'll do like an entire, 3 or 4 weeks without audition. It's comes in waves. So, I mean, I've had no auditions for over a month at times, and then sometimes I'm just like completely overwhelmed. So it's super up and down.
That's crazy. Have you had to go back to, I know, like you said, you had to quit your job. Well, it sounds like they basically fired you because you had to go do the stand-up, and you're like, I'm going to be on the road for a couple of weeks. And they're like, well, then you don't work here anymore. But so then you kind of did Postmates for a little bit. Have you had to go back to Postmates at all, or are you still able to just live off the royalties and stuff?
Yeah, still getting by. I'm getting unemployment now, which is pretty great.
Nice.
Sweet gig.
That's great. Yeah. That's what I got too. It's great. It's good stuff.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah, so, I could do this for a while.
That's great. And then you could just work on your videos and stuff.
Before that, I was. Yeah, exactly. Just cranking out stupid content. But,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been about 3 years now. I've been able to get by on. Then I tour a lot for stand up and the occasional acting thing, the occasional commercial, and I've just kind of been able to scrape by paying the bills with that. And I'm on Cameo, which helps a little bit.
That's right. $40 on Cameo, not bad.
$40, nice deal.
And then
just be able to scrape by.
You do the road shows a lot. You've been doing more shows on the road, but when you're in Hollywood, do you have like a home comedy theater that you go to? I know Fahim's at the Comedy Store, and some of it, I've seen you at the Laugh Factory on some of the videos. Is that kind of your home club, or? No,
I don't even know if I've been to the Laugh Factory since I did that set.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, that was years and years ago. I mean, yeah, the Laugh Factory is just like they're weirdly exclusive. Oh. But as the club is my home club, I really like the West Side Comedy Theater, which is where I kind of started out. I started out as an intern there.
Okay.
And that's where I met Dead Kevin. I met them there. I used to host the open mic there for a couple of years. That's the only real club that I perform at pretty regularly. Occasionally the Improv, occasionally Comedy Store, but yeah, West Side is definitely where I have like the most friendships. And it's a good club.
Yeah. Hey,
support them if you can.
Yeah. You had I wanted to ask you about this too. I saw this, you posted this the other day. You had one of those mean tweets from Jimmy Kimmel that you had joked about Lisa Kudrow. How do you get featured on that? Is that something you literally tweeted and then they found it, or did you have to did they ask you to submit something, or how does that work?
Yeah, that was just a random tweet. That was, I think, 2012. I tweeted that, and it was just like, just going through a weird Twitter phase where I'll just say something stupid that doesn't make any sense. The tweet was, "I hope everyone has a great day, except you, Lisa Kudrow. Fuck you." And I didn't even tag at Lisa Kudrow. I just said the name Lisa Kudrow. And the joke was just like, I was playing a guy that just for whatever reason didn't like Lisa Kudrow. It was like, how can you not like Lisa Kudrow? That was a joke. I think it got like 3 faves. It was just like this dumb tweet that didn't really make sense. That was kind of what I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later is when it was featured on Kimmel, which I guess they had her as a guest on the show, and they wanted her to read a mean tweet. So they must have had to Google Twitter Lisa Kudrow tweet or something. I don't know how they found it, but I'm the only person who's ever tweeted anything bad about Lisa Kudrow.
Oh,
I remember I was doing some show. Yeah, doing some show, and then I got off stage and checked my phone, and my Twitter was just like blowing up. I was like, "What?" And that Lisa Kudrow tweet from 2 years ago was getting all these
God.
retweets. I was like, "What the hell?" Like, why are people liking this tweet all of a sudden? And I realized I scrolled all the way down to the bottom and realized it was on Jimmy Kimmel, and her reaction to it was so cool because she just laughed.
Oh yeah, no, that was so funny though.
She had fun with it.
Yeah, one of the fans or one of her fans or somebody messaged you about it, and you're going back and forth, and you said you told her to fuck off because she kicked your grandpa on the head, and I mean, if people should go to your Instagram, that whole exchange is hilarious.
it's pretty awesome. I mean, I got a lot, especially at the beginning. I got a lot of that, and to this day, I still get a lot of people DMing me and messaging me, just asking me, "What's your problem with Lisa Kudrow? Why don't you like Lisa Kudrow?" And I'm like, "That was a joke from 2012 that intentionally didn't make any sense. It was just like a silly tweet that didn't make sense. That was the point of it." But I mean, to this day, I'll get messages like that. But at the beginning, Friends Mafia came at me hard. I had a lot of people coming at me being like, "This jerk doesn't like Lisa Kudrow." I'm like, "You don't get that that's a joke. What is wrong with you?"
Yeah. You've said that a lot of
doesn't like Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah, you've said a lot of the college crowds are overly PC and scared to laugh at things or upset by trigger words. Like, is that harder doing comedy now? Like, there just seems like, do you ever worry about offending people in the PC culture? Like, I know in your coronavirus video, you said it was all the Chinese people's fault and they'll be punished accordingly. I mean, of course it's a joke, but did you get any blowback from that or other jokes that people are offended by?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely got blowback for that, which I think blowback is my favorite thing to get online at this point. I think it's like people are upset by that, but not me saying I stick a pine cone in my ass, like shoving all this other stuff. Like, what are we even talking about? I'm clearly doing it. The character is like, it's saying dumb stuff. He's saying dumb racist things. That's like the joke. But I get, you got to toe the line or whatever. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I mean, people always still get it. Yeah, college shows are definitely tough. College shows are almost never fun because they don't really know what to laugh at, and they love getting upset about things. So you got to kind of tiptoe around some things. But
no, you had a good point, because I was like, dude, you'd kill it at college. But then you had a good point. You said that if you're like all the college kids that are going out and like having fun and partying, they're out partying. They're not coming to the comedy shows. The people that are coming to the comedy shows are like the nerdy kids. And so they're the ones that are more upset.
Like
and like
student union kids, the ones that, who's coming to a comedy show with someone that you've never heard of? It's like on a Friday night. What are you talking about? Go out and drink. Why would you go to the comedy show?
See, I would go to those when I was in college. I did though. Cause like our college, like if you're under 21, there was like nothing to do in that town. So like when they had a comedian, I'd be so excited. One time they had Greg Brady come. I don't know why. And he came, and I went, I was so excited. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, but yeah, I get it now. Now there's so much more stuff to do. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Probably should wrap up soon here, but are you still using the dating apps? You said that the dating apps are kind of depressing, but you did meet a girl on Coffee and Bagel. Are you still doing that? Or you have a girlfriend now?
I don't have a girlfriend. Yeah, my last girlfriend was Coffee Meets Bagel, which I'm no longer. I think most people just filtered into just Hinge and Bumble. It seems now are the only two that anyone that's left on. But yeah, I'm still on those. Still swiping away, still not working. But I want to keep trying. It's definitely hard now during the apocalypse.
Yeah,
no one wants to meet. No one's really using the apps right now. So it's kind of just a standstill. But
I'm so fascinated by those apps, like because I've been in a relationship so long. Like I met my girlfriend online, but we didn't. It was before like the apps. It was like with the actual websites and stuff. So do you get a lot of like hits on those apps and stuff? I mean, you met a lot of girls, or is it hard? Some of my friends say it's like a lot of the girls flake out. Is that your experience too?
Yeah, that's what sucks. Yeah, Bumble is the girl has to message you within 24 hours or it disappears. So 90% of people I match with on there end up disappearing. I just never talk to them. So I don't even get excited anymore when I match. I'm like, girl's probably not even going to say anything. But I mean, it's a wasteland out there. It's the only way to meet people right now, and it's an impossible way to meet people. It's a bummer.
So you don't get girls messaging you that saw you on TV or saw your comedy or anything and trying to hit on you that way?
No, very rarely. Every once in a while, someone will be like, "Well, match," be like, "Oh, I've seen you on this." That's happened like 3 times. But yeah, for the most part, it's a dead zone out there.
Interesting. So you're a hardcore Panthers fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still a Panthers fan?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately. So I was going to ask you about this. What do you think of, I'm a big football fan. I'm a Seahawks fan, but I love football. Why did the Panthers fire Ron Rivera? I wanted to get your take on that because I thought he was a pretty good coach.
He was a good coach. It was just getting kind of long in the tooth and kind of we're under new ownership. I think he just kind of wanted to give Rivera another year or two, see if they could work together. And we were just playing so badly. It wasn't his fault. We had Kyle Allen playing quarterback. It wasn't, Rivera's fault that we were so bad last year. But
yeah,
got to do something to shake the team up and get fans excited again. And I think the owner always kind of wanted to bring in his own guys. So now he finally has. But yeah, I still love Rivera. I think hopefully he can do well with Washington, but unlikely.
Yeah.
No one seems to do well with Washington.
That's tough. You're right. Yeah. So, and you're friends with the Khalil brothers, the one that's Ryan is the one that's the center on the Panthers, or is he still the center?
No, he just retired this past year.
Okay.
So he was,
But he
actually went to the Jets for 1 year, and then
he directed you in a short film,
retired.
Right?
That's right. Yeah. I met him. I just had like a meeting at his production company that he has with Blake Griffin, and got to meet him and freaked out and took a picture and stuff. And it was like completely in awe and starstruck. And he ended up reaching out on Twitter and said he watched a bunch of my stuff, wanted to work together on some things, and we just become good friends ever since. I was just talking to him a couple of days ago, and I want to, start banging some stuff out, start working together. He's a super cool guy.
That's very cool. So I always like to wrap up with a charity. I don't know if this is the one that you want to feature, but I know you've talked about the Drop the Hammer on Cancer Foundation because 2 Panther members got cancer. So they do like that Keep Pounding chant at the Panther games. Or is there another charity that you want to highlight?
Yeah. Certainly right now, I think COVID-19 relief is at a paramount.
Sure.
I'm sure if anyone's going to donate stuff, do that. But if you want to donate to some other stuff, you could donate to this the animal shelter I work at, Los Angeles Animal Shelter.
You work in an animal shelter?
.org.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, not now. It's they're shut down now, but they're letting dogs get fostered for the time being. But yeah, they're probably getting hit pretty hard right now. So
what's it called again? Sorry, say the name again.
It's called Los Angeles Animal Services. So go to LAAS.org. You can find their whole website. And they got all the dogs on there you can foster too. If you want to foster a dog, there's some good ones. Okay,
cool. I'll put that on the notes for this episode. Well, Ryan, you've done some amazing things already with your own Comedy Central special, starring role on American Vandal, voiceovers on American Dad, hilarious YouTube videos. I'm excited to see what the future holds for you. You got a role in the Block Island Sound movie coming out. Can you tell me about that, and when is that coming out? That's from the writers of American Vandal, so I'm kind of excited for that. That should be fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's a small role. It's like my first feature film, but it's a kind of a sci-fi mystery thriller. I play kind of this straight man. It's not a huge role, but it's still pretty cool. I'm not sure when it's going to be out. Yeah, we filmed that last year back home in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. So it was fun to get back there for a bit. And I got to see the final product. It's pretty awesome. I think it hopefully should be out sometime later this year, if I was to guess.
Is it going to be in theaters, or they'll shop it to Netflix or theaters or somewhere? Or
I think there are plans to shop it to Netflix.
Okay.
Hopefully, I don't know what's going on as far as meetings and stuff, but yeah, that'd be cool if it can get on.
Yeah, those guys,
platforms.
Kevin and Matthew McManus, I think their names are. They produced they also produced in the Cobra Kai show, which I'm a big fan. I don't know if you watched that show, but I love that show. So I'm excited to see what this.
I did not.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this movie.
Yeah,
so.
They do good stuff.
Anything else that you have in the hopper, or anything else you want to promote?
No, not really. You can find me on social media at Ryan O'Flan on Instagram and Twitter. That's really it. Mostly just cranking out content on my social media right now.
Dude, you're killing it with these videos. The coronavirus tips, the coronavirus. What'd you call it? Ticks and trips. And
ticks and trips.
Dude, you
always got to mispronounce.
You freaking had like 4 or 5 in a row. It was like boom, boom, boom. I was like, dude, you are on fire with these. So I hope you keep cranking that stuff out. Everybody should go check out your Instagram. I think you post it everywhere. You post them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So pick your poison, I guess. That you're posting the same stuff on those. So a lot of people can see it. I think the smush button, that was one of my favorites, where just go ahead and smush that like button. That thing has like 760,000 views on Twitter, which is, I'm like, I don't know why it has more on Twitter than YouTube and Instagram, but for some reason you think it's going to hit 1 million on Twitter?
I don't know. It seems to have petered out. Yeah, that's the first time I've ever had something go big on Twitter before. I've had some Facebook and some YouTube, but never Twitter, which is cool. Somebody got retweeted by a few.
Did it get retweeted by some big people or something? Or
it must have been. I guess my friend was telling me someone that has a big podcast that I've never heard of retweeted it. I know Karen Kilgariff retweeted it. She's got a bunch of followers. So it kind of took off last week. It was bizarre, but I'll take it.
Yeah, take it. Awesome. Well, I wish you good luck in the future, and it would be interesting to follow your career. I hope you just keep cranking out those videos because I love them.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, if you ever get to Phoenix, I'll definitely come see you. I'll try to bring an entourage. If you do you ever do stand up here?
Never done stand up in Phoenix, no. But I've been there a bunch of times. I got an aunt that lives there. I go visit every once in a while.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 comedy clubs here. So yeah, if you can, I'll try to bring a bunch of people. If you just let me know if you're ever coming here.
Right on. That'd be awesome.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for doing my show. I really appreciate it.
Of course, man. Good talking to you.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So many great stories. What a ride that was talking with Ryan, from quiet, shy kid with a stutter and a retainer to the homecoming king. And then he went back down and he was sharing a room with an 81-year-old man. And then he went to acting on some of the biggest TV shows out there. So I'm excited to see what he does next. I'm loving the video content he's pumping out, and I hope that continues. Make sure to follow Ryan on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. He's on Venmo. He's on that site Cameo. For $40, I'll send you a personalized video. I think I might actually do that since I forgot to ask him to do any clips for my podcast. A hilarious guy. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let me know what you think, either by reaching out to me on social media, or you can write me a review on iTunes or Facebook. Thank you for listening. Thanks to Ryan for taking the time to come on my show. I hope to have many more great episodes coming out soon. Until then, have a great day or night.